November 9th, 2018, Sunday. We're heading out to Snowflake as usual. The morning looks great. A little bit of cloud cover, which I really like. Might be getting, I don't know, it rained pretty good last night for a little while. So I don't know if there'll be rain or water on the ground at the LZ. We'll see when we get there. We're gonna try out, actually, all of this year I've been plagued with camera problems. I've missed some really great flights because my camera wasn't working correctly, or one of them was working, the other, mostly my foot camera is working, but my helmet cam's not, so I'm missing some really good flights. Like the balloon festival, my camera was actually pointed up on my helmet, so I missed stuff. I actually carved a line into the mount, both mounts on the GoPro, so that I can line that line up and I know that it's at the right angle. So that should help with that problem in the future. The other thing I got was, one of the GoPro remotes, and I actually flew with it last weekend. Actually, I don't know if it might have been 2 weekends ago, but that really helped because I could look right at my wrist and see two cameras were running and recording. So that's gonna help out in the future. And then I got something else that I'm gonna try out today. 4K isn't a thing yet for me. 1080p works great, and because I shoot 1080p at 30 frames per second, everything I've got is, the GoPros can shoot in the 4K, but my DJI Spark that I like to use, 1080p. The cameras that I put on my truck, they're called an Ion Air Pro camera, and I got them, like, Walmart for some reason was clearing these things out. If you go there now, they're back to their normal price, but for some reason they were clearing them out for 20 bucks a piece, so I got 5 of them. And I use those on the truck, and those shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and they're good enough. The image is good enough to kind of mesh into my other footage. Actually working on building a chase cam out of those cameras because they're so cheap, and because I have so many. I don't care if it crashes and smacks a rock on the way when I'm landing or whatever, because so what? It's a cheap camera. If it was my GoPro, I'd be devastated. So we're working on something for that. So let me show you what I bought for another camera angle. I'll tell you more information about it in a video, or in this video, but not in this video. This is a spy camera, is what they call it, but it shoots in 1080p at 30 frames per second, and it's tiny. It's like the size of my Apple Watch. This guy, this little thing, and it weighs like, it's like nothing. It weighs like nothing. This is the white version. They have a black and a red version as well that I saw online. I don't think anybody's buying the white version, so I got this for $20 less than the black version on Amazon, and I'll put a link on there. I don't know if they're still going to be that way or not. It comes with like 4 or 5 different mounts, like clip mounts and magnet mounts and all that stuff, and then a sticky mount. I decided to use the sticky mount and put these monster magnets that I have from another project on there. These things are super powerful. You can't really put them even together because they don't let go of each other. With the wing fabric, and then the other magnet that I'm going to use is this magnet. I sewed a little pouch for it so that I have another piece of material between there so I can get them apart, and then also have these little flaps on the side because I made it square. The magnets are round. I made it square so that I could grab the fabric corners and peel it off to get it to release. But this thing has crap microphone. The image stabilization sucks, but I have software that can manage that. But this thing will snap right into my wing, no problem. Super light, and I can get a downward angle from the wing. I'm going to try that today. So that's one of the reasons I'm going out to fly today, is to get a test on this. I did kite with it last night, and kiting was fine. It looked pretty cool. It worked out fine. It's got a wide angle lens. You can turn the I think it's digitally wide angle. I don't know, because that doesn't look, the lens is pretty flat. I don't see a curvature to it at all. But you could turn off the wide angle through the app on the phone. Images seem kind of far away. We'll see when I get it into editing if I could get like a slight zoom in. And I put it center wing on my test last night, and I can't decide if I'm going to go with the edge of the wing, like the wingtip, or center wing again today. We'll see. But it ought to be fun. I've tried to make wing cameras in the past. I actually tried to make one for the 360 Fly, and that thing weighs a freaking ton. In comparison to this, every camera I have weighs a ton. This weighs like nothing. Like, it barely feels like anything in my hand. And I feel safe putting it in the wing, and I feel like it's not going to fall out. And it's so small, I think I could manage putting it up there without snagging anything or having it fall and smack something. So this ought to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I've seen other people use wing cameras, and it's kind of a cool shot. And another thing about it is, this isn't my primary camera. This isn't the primary footage that I'm going to use. It's just going to be like a few second shots here and there throughout the video. It won't be, the constant image. So I'm almost positive that with it shooting at 1080p through 30 frames per second, that it's going to provide me with the few images I really need from it. Just a couple shots, and it'll be cool. It'll be cool to kind of mix into the footage. Another thing to mention is that this actually has a lanyard slot on it as well. There's a little clip there. So I didn't do it today, and I meant to, but I was going to make a string to tie this off too, just in case it did fall off. I will be shocked if this all falls off. Last night when I was kiting, I was smacking it around quite a bit, and it did no movement whatsoever from where I put it. So I'm pretty confident in this. So we'll try it out today, and you'll probably see the footage in this video. See you guys. we got one flight in today. Takeoff and landing, excellent. That went fine. Flying went really well. Hardly any turbulence. Very few bumps. I got to see a whole ton of pronghorn, which is like a highlight out here in Snowflake. We fly out, you know, in wide open area, which I like. Damn, there's a military plane that just took off. I would have loved to have been in the air. Oh, there goes this wingman. God, that's awesome. Where was I? Got to see lots of pronghorn, like a whole herd. I tried not to scare him, but I think I might have scared him. And like I said, everything was smooth today. Not really a huge problem in the air. I think I might have reached my time limit, came down. You know, my personal time limit. And I spoke to the guys. I spoke to Keith and Tony about getting an A-wing for myself, just to see if that would help me with the turbulence or the bumpy air. And Keith told me that I shouldn't get an A-wing, so maybe I won't. He said to try out somebody's or borrow one to see if I like it, or see, you know, if it helps, not to invest in a whole wing. And I get that. I guess that makes a lot more sense if I can find somebody to borrow one from. Keith said I could borrow a really large wing that Tony's been using. I don't know if I can handle that. So it's pretty big, but I'll try to take off with it. Maybe, you know, if I just get a couple flights with that wing, I'll feel more comfortable. We tried out the new wing camera to see how that would work out. Spoke about it earlier. I know that it was recording, so I know I got footage on here, and we'll see how it turned out when we get home and we edit. I think it's going to turn out good. I think this thing's super impressive. I looked at it while I was in the air. It was dead solid. Obviously, it stayed exactly where I put it. Once I hit the ground, I took a look, and it was exactly where I had it at. Didn't move at all. So I'm fairly comfortable with this thing being up there in the wing. So we'll see if the footage comes out, and the way it stayed up in the wing, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for in a wing camera. It's super small, super light, easy to operate, and it stays where it's supposed to be with a magnet. Anyway, we'll get home, we'll check out some video,